Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Pages of Ascension. This is going to be the Raising the Collective reading for this 30 days, or the 30 days from whenever you watch it. I actually sat down and tried to do this a couple of times earlier this week and even last weekend. And I kind of kept running into a block because I wasn't sure which deck, if I wanted to use a specific layout. So finally, I'm at the point. I kept getting a visual of these cards. I ran into these at my local shop, and I kept seeing these in my head to get these, and then I ended up picking up some sacred geometry oracle cards as well. I'm very into sacred geometry. It's a lot of what kickstarted my path a couple of years ago. So there's always a deep amount of symbolism within sacred geometry for me. It led me to actually kind of start this channel. I've even got the tattoo. So it only makes sense for, me being as a messenger, channeling to the collective, to help us, raise our vibration, and help lift each other up. Life is hard enough. So that's the intent for this reading. Going to look at us as a collective energy, not zoning in on any specific sign, any specific situation. We'll just kind of see what comes out. No specific gender. As per usual in the videos that I plan to continue to make, my readings are signless, timeless, and genderless. So be patient with me on the genderless part. Programming is hard to break. But I do make sincere effort. So I hope that you stick with me and be patient with me. So give me a second here while I tune into what's on the table and see where to start. Probably what's in my hand, which is the reason I picked them up. Okay, so let's do that. These are the mini color cards. This is actually my first time using these cards, but I'm very into color psychology as well. The meaning of colors and the emotions that they can affect on people in our lives, and how they kind of can light our path if you know what to look for. I'll put it that way. So that's something that I wanted to include in this reading that I'm doing, the Raising the Collective reading series. Don't know how long I'm going to do it for, but we're going to go with it. All right. We have a lesson. So we have the color of silver and gold, light down through the top of your head. And the lesson is to choose what you value. So this is actually interesting because I think this ties in just a little bit. Oop, get that in frame there. Ties in quite a bit to the daily readings actually that I've been giving all week. It's been very specific, saying that at least those who resonate with me, you need to meditate. There's something you need to speak up and say, and making the choice to go after what's important to you and what's valuable to you, and not just actively making that choice, but vocalizing that choice, bringing it into fruition, giving energy into what it is you want to go for, makes a huge difference in removing any blocks that are in the way. And I picked it up a couple of times. that there is some blockages for some of us out there in actually making the choice to go after what we want. Okay, apparently that's the card we're going to do. So our guiding card, these are the, oh, sorry, they're fairly new. Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle. There we go again. Not having that big enough. Bear with me. I will get used to this. It's by someone named Lon. But in any case, these particular cards is interesting because when I started researching, just kind of, got the push to really look for it. And these were one of the first sets of cards that came up specifically, and then I managed to find a couple of other decks that eventually at some point I'll introduce. But I've been working with these at least for the last couple of days, and I gotta say, these are some potent cards. So if Sacred Geometry is something that really speaks to you, I would highly suggest getting this deck. Okay, so our of course. What did I just say about intuition and following your heart here? Okay, so we have the crown chakra. And it says, the frequency of the crown chakra, the violet flower of life, supports our spiritual connection to the universe and our ability to transmute negative energy into light. This is actually something else that I mentioned on the daily on Instagram, is that you do have the power to transmute any negativity. Basically, what it comes down to is the only way that we end up succumbing to negative energies is like if we don't protect ourselves. Number one, like first and foremost, especially if you're an empath, protect yourself. Get yourself some black tourmaline, and you carry that around with you every single day. It's a great transmuter of negative energy. I searched high and low to get the little piece that I have and ended up finding a bracelet, and it all kind of came in at the same time, but it was relatively tricky to find when I initially started looking for it. In any case, along with being sensitive, you tend to draw people like that to you. It's like they say empaths and narcissists seem to kind of magnetize to each other, more like the narcissist is magnetized to the empath, but you get what I'm saying. Oh my God, where was I going with that? I just lost it. No. Right. So to transmute any type of negativity. So it's either, sometimes you'll have energies coming after you. So we call that psychic attack, right? And then the biggest thing that I've seen, not just in my own experience, but in, spiritual experiences, esoteric experiences with others, is that self-talk. Negative self-talk is a huge factor sometimes in the amount of negative energy that you bring into your life. So that's something I think that we all need to watch and to be cognizant of. I include myself into this. I am a student of the universe, just like you who are watching this video. But I think one of the reasons that this is coming out is saying that, at least for those of you that are following me so far and resonating with me so far, your intuition is going to be a big factor within this next 30 days in guiding you around and helping you to actually make the choices that are going to be for your highest good. I mean, keep in mind too that we've got Mercury retrograde literally coming up. Like we're already in the shadow period. We've been in the shadow period for a few days now. But things start to come back from the past and things start to come up during Mercury retrograde. And because of the fact that we're in Pisces season, which is already a little cloudy, a little cloaked as far as what you can see and your perceptions, it's kind of a double whammy. So using your intuition during these next 30 days to actually help you on your path and guide you for what you're supposed to be doing is going to be essential. And I have a feeling that the more cards that come out are going to back that up. So I'm going to pull out the Gemstone Tarot. This is like one of my favorite decks. Oh my word. Too many. Oh, oh, okay. So we have Judgment, Ametrine. Uh-oh, I think I saw something else flipped over. Were you flipped over? I saw something flip over. Sure, but well, maybe not. Well, sometimes that happens. Six of Cups. All right, I have a good idea of where this is going now. So when it comes to relationships specifically from your past, represented by the Six of Cups, whether that's past life, childhood, last week, last month, last year, something that is no longer in the present is what I consider the past. So pretty broad interpretation. But there's definitely something in your past that Judgment is being called off on. I consider Judgment to be a very divine oriented card. It's kind of like when the universe steps in and says, okay, look, either you're being hard-headed and you're not taking the steps you need to, so we're going to close this out. Typically there would be like a tower moment that would come up for that if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. If you've done what you're supposed to do, it's kind of the universe saying, okay, you've learned your lesson. You followed your intuition. Again, you learned the lesson of choosing what's important to you. Oops, sorry about the glare. So we're going to close this out now so you can move on to the next cycle. I mean, think about it. The only card that comes after Judgment is the World, at least in traditional Rider-Waite decks. Traditional tarot decks, we'll just say that, not just Rider-Waite. Some of the more modern decks don't necessarily follow that same set, if you will. But after Judgment comes the World. The World is the final ending. It is the absolute doors closed final ending. So it's like, actually, I'm still kind of getting that a decision needs to be made. And that's an extension off of the Instagram daily that I did today. There's a couple different groups of people that came through on that. So if this is resonating for you, definitely go check that out. The daily for March 1st, 2019. All right, what else do we have? Oh. So they kind of don't want to talk. Just curious what these are. Yeah. We're not keeping them. It's bad shuffling on my part. Okay. So we have Seven of Cups, which is Sapphire in this deck. And then, oh God, Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck, which is Silver. Okay, so a couple of things. First, with the Seven of Cups, and it being Sapphire. So I'm kind of seeing a lot of throat chakra action in here too. It's because of all the blue. But I tend to look at the Seven of Cups card as the illusion of choice. Or in this case, because the throat chakra is coming up for me, it could also be the illusion of truth. Or the illusion of communication or proper communication. Like something's not being said entirely clearly like it's supposed to be. Azurite. So the Six of Cups could stand for past love. I don't necessarily think it's tied to that. And I say that because of the Seven of Swords. I think this has more to do with communication, like a final communication. It could be that you need to um, cut someone off, cut communication off with someone. Because even if you look at it, and this is what's so tricky in this deck for me, because the Seven of Swords, obviously, it's looked at as the liar, cheater, thief, right? Not a good card. It's still not even a good card that I like to see, even in this deck. But when I look at the element of silver, and you look at all the healing properties that silver has, I I don't even see it as self-deception. I see it more as I think how to word this. Hmm. Silver is a healing element, but it's one of those things of balance. Like too much silver in the system, you turn blue, you lose oxygen. Right? So look at the blue guy who drinks like so much colloidal silver and all that jazz. Look it up if you're interested in checking that out. But if you have too much silver, it harms. If you have just enough, it helps. So it's like a balance of communication and balancing that communication in such a way where both parties both parties or one party doesn't feel like they're being swindled, doesn't feel like they're being lied to, doesn't feel like they're being taken advantage of. So I'm not sure um, exactly what this is regarding. Like I'm not getting anything specific like work or love or money or anything like that. I'm not getting any of that off of this. That wasn't the intent anyway, but sometimes a theme will emerge. And the only thing that seems to be emerging is clear communication. So that's kind of going back to what this card was saying, the lesson of the silver and gold, which is choose what you value. You know, you can make the choice and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I want, but if you're not vocalizing that, you're not putting any energy into that. You're not putting it out into the universe, right? And in that same sentence, when you're telling the universe, hey, I want this or I want that, it's also saying, oh, by the way, I don't have this. I don't have that. I'm lacking. You're not lacking. Um, but you still need to be vocal about what you want and what you stand for and stand in your power. I mean, we've got citrine and amethyst in the stone of ametrine, okay? Citrine is an amazing stone. It doesn't ever really need to be cleaned. I clean my stones anyway, but the vibration that it holds, it's not one that needs to be cleaned. Okay. And it's great for when you're working on your solar plexus chakra, which is your inner your power, like your power center, if that makes sense. I call it my warrior center, because when I'm an Aries sun, first house, like whoa. But it's one thing, like when I'm feeling terribly insecure and I'm not in my power center, I'll wear yellow or I'll focus um on the solar plexus and do meditations for that, to try to bring that energy and that warmth and that sunshine uh, back into that center. Because if you don't feel strong in yourself, it kind of throws everything else off. And I think anyone who's ever dealt with, say a bout of depression or a bout of melancholy, or, they've run into something that's really made them question, like, am I good enough? Can I do this? You can attest to that. When you feel good and you feel confident, everything else flows. But when you don't, you feel cloudy. You have a hard time seeing. You can have a hard time really figuring out, listening to your intuition and figuring out where you want to go, right? And that's where the amethyst comes in with this. Amethyst is also an incredibly protective and healing card, especially or card stone, especially for empaths. The color purple, the violet flame, like it's a very, very spiritual color. One of my favorites, even. So the combination of these two, like, find your center. Find your center. And Be very careful in how you're communicating. I don't know if this is a specific person or just a situation that you're kind of involved with. Um, but watch the language. Watch the language, watch the tone. Don't let your emotions get the best of you, whoever this is for. It could be someone or something that you've had to deal with before and it's coming back around. And this final time around the merry-go-round, judgment will be passed, and this should be the last time that you'll have to go through it. But at the end of the day, you still need to speak your truth, and say, hey, this is what I value and this is what I want. And what you're putting on the table is unacceptable, and we're not going there. It's okay to say that, right? Also, we've got 2 sevens on the table, so there's also that. So 10 of Pentacles just popped up. This might have to do with income in some form, whether that's money coming in, money going out, negotiation of wages, negotiation of payment. And there's going to be a conclusion that's come to, but again, you need to put your foot down and say, look, this is what I deem important and this is what I deem fair. We come to a consensus or a medium on this, or I walk away. It's okay to walk away from something that you feel doesn't serve you or that you feel isn't fair. So I just realized too that there's not 2 sevens on the boards, there's 3. Which is ironic. Sevens are definitely one of my personal synchronicities, but yeah, we have 3 sevens on the board here. So this is has to do with intuition, and even to some extent bringing intuition into the physical with the 10 of coins. Like 10 of coins is money, yes, but I also tend to look at it as something earthly. It's something grounded. It's something in the physical that we can feel. It's not in the ethers. So it could be balancing your intuition and making sure you're grounded within that intuition, within using your intuition. So the best example that I can give, because I feel like this is going to sound this is sounding confusing, but the best example that I can give of this is like someone who, let's just go numerology and synchronicities or angel numbers. I really don't like that term, angel numbers. I'll make a different video on that. But in any case, it's like someone who's looking for, these numbers, or they come across these numbers, which, as we know, certain numbers can lead to an actual, they can be symbols of your awakening, your ascension, as it's called, right? So say it's this person and they're seeing numbers and they look it up and they're like, oh, okay, this is what this means, right? This is what's happening. That's great. But suddenly they go from letting the synchronicities come to them to searching for them, trying to find meaning in every single little thing that comes. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that just because a fly came across your path and sat on your laptop and then flew away that it has no meaning. Maybe for you it does. We find different meanings in different things. I think it's an individual thing, which is kind of the reason why I have an issue with angel numbers. But at the end of the day, the synchronicities being presented to you from the divine are completely different than the synchronicities that you're out searching for. Sometimes a fly is just a fly. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes it doesn't mean anything. Sometimes number 7 is just number 7. Sometimes 777 is actually a meaning from the divine. It's going to depend on per person, so just roll with me here. So it could be saying that you need to balance your intuition with your logic. No. Balance your intuition with the physical. Ground it. You need to ground. Yeah, I would definitely say ground. 10 of, or excuse me, not 10. Cups is the suit that is dominating this particular spread, even though We've got the throat coming into play here and intuition highly coming into play. Um, it's Pisces season. So try and bring yourself back down to center. Yeah. Okay. What did I say? After judgment comes the world. So this is definitely something that's wrapping up. Um, yeah, keep your wits about you. Um, with the Seven of Swords on the table, I definitely think that there's things you probably don't know yet that's going on. I'm not necessarily seeing that that's bad. And I'll call that confirmation because apparently I forgot to turn my phone off. um, hmm. Okay, let's pull um let's pull the oracle, the sacred geometry oracle, and see what else we can get from this. So I love these cards. I haven't had these very long, so I will be reading out of the book. Just a forewarning for those who don't like that. It's just hilarious because I'm totally one of those people. I can't stand that. It's like, work with the deck before you try to put it on camera, but sometimes you're just called to use it, so you use it. Energy work is kind of funny like that. Holy moly, has it really been almost a half an hour? Time flies when you're doing this too. It's almost like you go in a portal. All right. Now I don't know how many of these I'm going to pull. I'm just kind of rolling with it till I figure out the format more on this type of reading. But this is something that I specifically want to do, is I do feel called to that. Called to, help us find the good in things. Ooh, okay, maybe it's choosing for me. Okay. Oh my god, 4 cards. Okay, 1 each. So we have Mayan Dream. Ooh. That's got Fee on it. That's my favorite. We have the hexahedron. Echoes of One in reverse. Get that Vesica Pisces action. And then we have Ka. Okay. So, Mayan Dream. Spiral Cosmic Connection. Spirals compose the most basic geometry of life and speak to us on a level of our deepest knowing. Spirals both curve and move in an angular fashion. This card contains both curved and angular spirals. The design at the top and sides is painted on the wall in the ruined Mayan city of Palenque in Chiapas, Mexico. Palenque, yeah. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It is symbolic of the beginning, the germination, the essence, and the seed from which all life springs. In the background is a temple of inscriptions. This temple contains a tomb of Mayan King Pakal the Great, whose sarcophagus has been the subject of much research and conjecture. In choosing this card, you are asked to enter Dreamtime and find the inner journey to your spiral beginnings. As spirals are the purest are the purest form of moving energy. You can travel the spiral dream journey to the level of subatomic particles and watch them reveal their spiral vortices. You can also travel. Oh my gosh, is that flurry but buzzy? Okay. You can also travel the galaxies, watching the magnificent dance as they go spinning through space. This is a dream that connects microcosm and macrocosm. This is the dream that will help you realize your place in the universe. Not small or insignificant, but an integral part of a glorious whole. By connecting through sacred geometry, intention, and spirit, you will find yourself better able to create your dreams in this reality. So, what's interesting about this card, especially, um, so there's this group that I go to at one of my local esoterica shops, as I like to say, and it's called Stone Soup. And one of the ladies in there actually mentioned that spiral is the symbol of the creator, right? And I'd run across this information once before at like a candle making class, or not candle making, uh, candle spell work class. I'm curious. um, and in the guide that um, the teacher gave us, it also showed that the spiral is a symbol of the creator. So specifically, I have a thing for spirals so much that I actually went and got a tattoo of the Nautilus on my arm many, many years ago. And I noticed like an immediate energy change once I did. And I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was because I hadn't fully woken up at that point. But for me anyway, it started with the spiral. It started with number synchronicities. It started with um, animal synchronicities. So if that's something that that you find yourself called to and you're paying a little bit closer attention to, follow the rabbit hole. The rabbit hole is a spiral. Okay, no end or no beginning, really. It just keeps going. It's phi. The perfect symbolism of sacred geometry. You can quite literally find this everywhere in nature, and that's one of the things that drew me to sacred geometry so much. Yeah, actually, for those of you that are really, really drawn to sacred geometry, and I feel like that there's a lot of people out there that are, because I was specifically called to get a representative deck and to talk about this with the Raising the Collective series readings that I'm doing. Check out a channel called Sacred Science. They're actually partially responsible for helping to wake me up back in 2016. Went through my dark night of the soul, and it was definitely one of the most intense things that I've gone through. But I had stumbled on their videos led by a classmate because I was in college like shortly before that period of time. And it all kind of stumbled onto all of this. Let me put it this way to you. You're not running across this video or anything or any symbol or any number, any animal for no reason. Now, that's not to say that, a fly holds some grandiose meaning. It might to you. I don't know what your history is with flies or what your culture is like or what your belief system is. But if you're getting repetitive things and you're noticing them a little more closely than before, I think that's something to pay attention to. So just keep that in mind. Okay, moving on. Hexahedron. Took forever to get that out. My bad. The cube. The hexahedron is one of 5 three-dimensional geometric shapes commonly called the Platonic solids. Each has equal angles, edges of equal length, and equal faces to each would fit within a sphere. Within their structure, they hold cosmic wisdom. The cube has 6 equal square faces. It represents solidarity, strength, and confined order. It holds earth and male energy. Pulling this card finds you seeking order in a situation that seems out of your control. You believe you have given your best to the matter of your inquiry, but you're feeling boxed in, without room to move. It may be time to consciously step out of the confining situation in order to view it from a larger perspective. You may simply need a vacation or a little time away from everyday cares. Or perhaps this card ushers in a time of major change when you will be required to act in a manner that is not customary for you, so that you can break free of the confinement you are experiencing. Before you act in a radical manner, before you act in the radical manner, step out of the box and seek a new perspective. Talk to a friend or wise counsel, and most definitely ask for inner guidance before initiating radical change. So that definitely goes back to what I was talking about, following your intuition. This particular situation is something from the past that's coming back around, and I'm pretty sure it's due to the fact that we have a Mercury retrograde presenting itself here. We're already within the shadow period. I think it goes retrograde on the 5th of March. That's when I'm doing this reading, March 1st, for those who happen to care. Okay, let's move on to Echoes of One. The greater whole. In each relationship, this card is a symbolic rejoining of male and female Okay, reverse. The balance of power is off center. Either you or another are manipulating the situation to gain an unfair advantage. Make an effort to communicate and return to balance before some harm occurs. Be prepared to accept your place in the imbalance, and if need be, make amends. So again, this is going back to choose what you value. Speak up. Speak up. I mean, the fact that this is landing on this section here with the 7 of Swords and the 7 of Cups, you need to speak your truth, whatever this is, and keep your heart open and remain receptive. Because when you remain receptive, you remain open to love. And you have to keep in mind that love is the highest vibration on this planet. There is nothing any higher. So if you're sitting in a space where you're angry and you're resentful and you want to attack, and you're sitting in the deceptive space, like the traditional 7 of Swords, too much silver. You've got too much silver going through your veins. Then it's exactly what this is talking about. That's going to lead you to be in balance, and that's going to affect your ability to actually listen to your intuition. Moving on. Ka. Life force. This is a rainbow-colored torus. The donut-shaped geometry of the tube torus expresses the concept of spirit as life force. Ka comes from the Merkaba. It is spirit. The water lilies, which are intended to symbolize our potential for enlightenment, surround and are contained within this rainbow-colored torus. Let this card signify your relationship to spirit and the life flow of the universe. Relax and follow your breath. Slowly allow yourself to enter this image. Use it as a device for meditation and a place from which to access the full spectrum of inner guidance. Notice how each of the colors has dimension and holds energetic vibration. Move within the shape and touch the water lily inside. See its purity and the beauty of its form. Feel the colors moving around you as you sit with this perfect flower. Notice how the colors spin and interact with one another. Accept into your being the wholeness that is embodied in the Ka, and return to your life with the knowledge that there is order, beauty, and life force in everything. So, again, I would highly suggest you guys follow me on Instagram, because I've talked about the same situation. I've been picking up on it all week, along with the insistence to tell people, to whoever's resonating with it, the message, that they need to meditate, because the answers they are seeking are actually going to come from meditation. I can't stress that enough, especially the fact that it's bringing this up again. Meditating is going to help you to get in tune with the divine, or your star player, your higher self. Choose whatever term that you want, your guides. Okay, whatever term that you want. At the end of the day, if you don't slow down and you don't center you won't be able to hear. You won't be able to get the directions that you need to in order to make the choices that you need to that will keep you on your path or put you on your path or really end up for your highest good. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're doing things that will help us and not hurt us in the long run. And if you're sitting in a space of too much silver, of seven of swords, it's going to be real hard to do that. One thing that I've noticed too, as I've been meditating, is I had to start meditating last year just because of some things that I was dealing with at a job that I had. And one thing that I noticed is that it did help me center. It helped me put things in perspective. It's like, we'll call it the fuck it bank. I'm not going to say excuse the language because I'm a grown woman and there should only be grown ass people watching this. But it's like the fuck it bank, okay? How many fucks are you going to give about this? Is it worth 2 fucks or no fucks? How many fucks do you give? Once you get into the space of meditation, you'll know exactly where to delegate your fucks. I think my friend actually gave me that example a few years ago, but it struck a chord and I remember that. So shout out Squishy. Okay, guys. So I'm going to pull one more and then we're going to call it good for these 30 days. So this deck is, excuse me. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I'm all burpy. It's ironic because the burping for me is actually a confirmation sign when I'm doing readings. So I think Spirit says we're on the right track. Thumbs up. Okay. So this is the Soul Journey lesson cards through from James Von Prague. I actually have a couple of decks through this guy, and he's a phenomenal channeler. I've watched him on YouTube. Very wise. Lots of good information, especially when you're starting out doing energy work. So I suggest checking him out too. Okay. All right. What is the additional lesson for the collective? That one. Ooh. So I'm not keeping all these, but gratitude did land upright. So make sure that you are showing gratitude every single day. When you show gratitude for what you have and you're happy with what you have, typically the universe will continue to give you more. It's like and think of it this way. It's like when you have a friend or something and they take and take and take and take and they never say thank you. They never acknowledge you. They just continue to take and take and take. And it's like eventually, okay, so fine. I'm not going to give you anything else. I feel like the universe is very similar to that. Show gratitude with what you have. Don't keep yourself in a place of lack of, oh, I don't have this and oh, I need this and oh, I need that. Act like you already have it. Feel like you already have it. Put a freaking picture up on the mirror and look at it every single morning. Make it the first thing you do and say, Spirit, I am so grateful for this, for my car. I'm so grateful for my roof. I'm so grateful to have clean water to drink. I'm so grateful to have clothes to put on every single day. I'm so grateful to have a job to go to. Show your gratitude. I'm grateful to have my family with me. I'm grateful to have my best friends, grateful for my partner, etc., etc., etc. Okay. And actually I would even suggest keeping a gratitude journal. This is something I do. There's this journal called Prosper, and it's freaking awesome. It's been so amazing in just kind of putting things into perspective. So I suggest getting one of those too. So the card is worry. So I think that this is something we need to let go of. So it says, I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. And if that is a true statement that I think I have seen all week, I don't know what is. What else is or what not? I'm not sure if that came out right. I'm a goofball. Anyways. And again, with the purple, like worry as an emotion, as an action, as a thought form is really just, it's just lack. It's just it's lack. It's another way of telling the universe, I don't have this. You tell whatever you focus on, that's what the universe is going to give you more of. So if you're worried, oh, I'm going to get kicked out. Oh my God, I'm going to get fired. Oh my God, my car is going to break down. Oh, I'm so worried about this. I'm so worried about that. I'm worried about the bills. I don't know how I'm going to pay this. I don't know how to. The more you worry about that, the more of the issue that you're going to have with it. Again, have gratitude and focus on what you have and leave the rest to the universe. It always steps in. Gratitude has a lot of stories to tell, and they're almost always life changing. So keep that in mind, y'all. Okay, so that's going to be it for the Raising the Collective for these next 30 days. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And especially if this resonated with you, definitely let me know. I want to know that I'm talking out there to someone other than myself. It's always helpful, especially when you're starting out on YouTube. It helps the channel. If you have any questions, you can get at me at pagesofascension@gmail.com. Let's see here. I think that's about everything. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll be putting up my weeklies here in about a day or so. And definitely check me out on Instagram as well, at Pages of Ascension. Yeah, I post dailies over on Instagram every single day. So yeah. All right, you guys. Y'all. Oh, gotta stop it with that. Y'all. All right. So yeah, that's all for now. Don't forget, be the spark. We all play a role in raising the collective consciousness and the consciousness and energy and vibration of people around us. So it matters if we do the part for ourselves. And when we do for ourselves and we focus on ourselves and raising our own vibration, we will naturally magnetize and multiply that energy and help raise the energy and vibration of those around us. Okay. Deuces.